We're live. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, savages. How y'all doing? Let's see. We're on the 13th of December in the year 2022. The pre-show. Did you guys enjoy the pre-show? During the pre-show, I did the salutations, and currently in Jitsi, it's just me. If anyone would like to stop in the Jitsi and talk about what you saw during the pre-show, be my guest. The link is in the description below. So, where shall we start here? Oh, Biden administration approves health insurance for illegal immigrants in Washington state. Well, isn't that interesting? So, the Biden administration has approved a waiver that will allow Washington state to offer health insurance to illegal immigrants. Just because. Why, thank you, Mad World. Thank you for the support. The waiver, known as a State Innovation Waiver, ooh, innovation, was submitted by the state in the spring and approved by the Department of Health and Human Services and the Treasury Department. And the Treasury Department involved in immigrant health. Wow. On December 9th, under Section 1332 of the Affordable Care Act. Isn't that nice that the Affordable Care Act now gives medical assistance to illegals? Washington requested the waiver in an effort to expand residents' access to residents. Okay, well, not Americans. It's just residents' access to qualified health plans, standalone qualified dental plans as well, and they get dental too, as well as a state affordability program regardless of their immigration status. Well, isn't that fantastic? Yes, Mad World. So we're just giving our money. Hey, Raynoth, good morning. What? Sad day, my 75-year-old neighbor did not make it back out of the hospital. Oh, Ray. Sorry to hear that. And,
Very sorry.
oh, Cali Girl, good morning.
Hey, I was watching your interview a little bit. I caught the last end of it. Um, yeah, I think we have to wait till we're 60. I forgot what the new thing is for dental. I think Medi-Cal, Medicare, 60. I don't think it was 62. I think it was 64. And then we get dental. So the immigrants are getting dental right off the bat.
Yeah, they're getting medical and dental right off the bat in Washington State.
Wow, lucky.
Ah,
I don't think they're lucky. I don't really trust the dentist, but yeah.
okay, so according to the departments, the waiver is projected to meet certain requirements, including providing coverage at least as comprehensive as coverage provided with access without the waiver, providing coverage and cost sharing protections against excessive out of pocket spending that are at least as affordable as would be provided without the waiver, and providing coverage to at least a comparable number of people as would be provided without the waiver. Oh, it's all about the numbers, isn't it? It's all about the numbers. The waiver will be effective January 2024 through December of 2028. So another 4 years. Okay, so it's interesting how that like works out. Subject to the state accepting specific terms and conditions, and will allow roughly 105,000 uninsured illegal immigrants in the state to shop for insurance. Well, doesn't seem like they're going to be paying for those policies, so it seems like money in, money out, money washy a little bit maybe through insurance companies. Washington State has already, I wonder which company is going to be providing those policies. Washington State has already allocated 50 million dollars for a state subsidy program called Cascade Care Savings, through which Washington residents with incomes below 250% of the federal poverty level and who get plans through Washington Health Plan Finder are offered premium subsidies. With the approval of the new waiver, an additional $5 million dollars in state funding will become available for these subsidies starting in 2024. And then the Washington Governor Jay Inslee, a Democrat, thanked the Biden administration for approving the request. Wow. So, who all here lives in Washington? The waiver could cost. See, and this is just it though. They want to say like we're doing this in Washington. However, they're going to use the federal aspect of taxation in order to fund this. So waiver could cost taxpayers $1 billion. It's just whatever. The waiver for Washington state comes at a time when inflation has soared across the country, leaving American households and employers forking out more for healthcare, which is expected to increase 6.5% in 2023, according to Healthcare Finance. Are you guys okay with this yet? I can't imagine anyone here is okay with that. By the way, if anyone wants to stop into the Jitsi and talk about the appointment I had with the psychotherapist, and if you have any observations or comments, you're more than welcome to stop in and talk about that. Chris Pope, a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, told the Center Square that the health insurance waiver in Washington could cost taxpayers up to $1 billion per year. Per year! I just thought it was going to be like a one time thing. Not that that's a good thing, but it's like per year. Although the department's projected it would not raise the federal government's deficit. See? They're not pulling it out of the state funds. They're pulling it out of the federal funds. That's our money. That means, another state goes and opens this because like right now what they're doing is they're setting a precedent, okay, in Washington state to be expanded across all states. It's just going to rob American citizens of the benefits which American citizens have worked towards to give it to people who, it's like putting out cocaine for a bunch of coke addicts who are on the other side of the door and then just breaking the door, taking it off its hinges, and expecting that the cocaine addicts aren't going to come and, snort all the cocaine and then want more cocaine. Dipshit. Really? Good morning. You owe $4,000 for a 5-day stay in an emergency room with no insurance. Well, dipshit, Did you have to choose that name, really? Anyway, dipshit. I'm just going to call you Dip. Dip, just stay out of the hospitals. I really hope you can stay out of the hospitals. House Energy and Commerce Republican leader Kathy McMorris Rogers, Republican, Washington, blasted the approval in a statement on Monday while taking aim at Governor Inslee. At a time when President Biden's inflation crisis is already increasing the financial burdens on healthcare providers and families in eastern Washington and across the nation, healthcare premiums and costs are rising substantially. Rather than using federal funds to mitigate some of these costs for healthcare providers and Washingtonians, Governor Inslee would rather spend it on undocumented immigrants. Because why would we take care of our own citizenry first? I mean, why would we have America first? I mean, for Pete's sake. Oh, they're gonna okay, so Muko says they're gonna bring a bunch of illegals here, starve them after they've used them for handouts, and those illegals will then attack the people they see everywhere out of rage towards our government. Wow. They're, from what I understand, it's a theory. Is that, well, it may be a fact. I mean, but for now, they're bringing them over here to replace laborers with cheaper labor. That's going to leave a lot of people without funds, which is going to make more poor people. It's not only the browning of America, as they call it, it's also the impoverishment of America, which is what they're moving towards. It's like, oh, lordy. The Republican lawmaker added that the waiver is a blatant misuse. No shit. It's a blatant misuse of taxpayer dollars, and that Energy and Commerce Republicans will continue to fight against dangerous policies that prioritize those who are breaking the law over law-abiding citizens. And then Washington is among 14 states to be granted. Oh no! See, I wasn't expecting it to move so quickly. Washington is among 14 states to be granted a 1332 waiver. Others include Alaska, Colorado, Georgia, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania. Oh, and where is the comma? There's no such thing as Colorado, Georgia. But anyway, there should have been a comma right there. Catabella, Catabella, you forgot your comma. But I like your article. Wow. Just take more. Take. Let's see. Already see immigrants standing outside Walmart with their 5 kids begging for money. Oh no. Yes, the desperation is going to increase, unfortunately, if these people are not brought to heel, because they truly do need to stop this shit. How is this beneficial for any of us? Okay, so next on the list we have TikTok. TikTok and children. I feel like I missed something this morning. Did I miss part of my greeting this morning? Anyone know? I feel like a little bit off. I don't feel like disjointed in my brain like I have while I was going through menopause. However, I feel like I may have missed something. Maybe it'll come to me later. Good morning, Mr. T. Shoot a couple, the rest will go home, I promise. Do you though? Do you promise? All right, so pediatric clinician issues warning on TikTok's harmful effect on children. Well, let's see where this goes. A pediatric clinician is sounding the alarm about the harms posed by TikTok to children. Anthony, you know what? I had some morning music on earlier. Hold on one moment. Let's see. Energizing morning music. It just feels kind of I'm in a vacuum over here. So let's see. Let's get some little piano maybe. What is this? Yes. Let's just put this in the background. That should be pleasant. So we're going to throw that over here and go back to the story. Okay, so a pediatric clinician is sounding the alarm about the harms posed by TikTok to children. Anthony Luxack, an advanced practice registered nurse and pediatric primary care and developmental behavior specialist, said that based on his observations, the Chinese-owned social media app feeds young people's addictions and fosters anxiety, depression, and harmful behaviors. Well, how do we stop that? Parents? It's about like parenting. When I was a kid, my parents would say, "Stop watching TV. Get up. Go do something. Go do something else." The handheld devices are no different than the TVs from when I was younger. I mean, it was like we had TVs, we did not have video game systems until like around the 80s. So my first one was like an Atari 2600. Okay? My parents were not about to let me just sit around playing, I don't know, what the hell. What was it? Combat or freaking Donkey Kong or like whatever the hell kind of crazy 8-bit graphic video game and waste my childhood. No, I had to get out of the house. So I went up and went and go play in the haymow. I would grab some like rummage clothing from like, what do you call them? When you're doing like a rummage sale and then you have like the extra clothing that no one wanted to buy. So I would go up in the haymow and I'd bust up hay bales with my sister. And she and I would stuff like the clothing full of hay and straw and such. And we would make these dummies, like they were more or less like they were like scarecrows. We'd hang them from this cable, which went from one side of the haymow to the other, because they used cabling to keep the walls from being blown off by the wind and stuff. And we would hang them up there. Well, one day my grandfather went up into that haymow, nearly had a heart attack because he thought there were hanging bodies up in the haymow. I didn't realize why my ass was being whooped until several years later, when it became evident to me that putting up effigies of, playthings, in this case, rummage sale clothing stuffed with hay and straw, to a more elderly person would probably look like hanging bodies in a haymow, and that can be quite unsettling. But yes, I wasn't playing video games. I mean, my parents didn't want us playing video games all the time. So, handheld devices and TikTok, expect to maybe find some different creations. Your kids will get creative in other ways. I'm just saying. Anyway, he said he is aware that the Chinese Communist Party views the United States as a foreign adversary intent on overtaking the US as the global superpower. After observing the relationship between children's diverse mental health conditions and the content that was directly involved in harming many of his young patients, he had concluded that TikTok behaves exactly like a psychological warfare tool intent on undermining the immediate and long term psychological health of an enemy population. Well, that in Hollywood. I mean, how much damage has Hollywood done? What are we doing over here? Johnny Engineer, good morning. So,
So
yeah.
speaking of those TikToks,
Yes.
Ye is he doesn't want his daughter on there, Kanye. And I guess Kimmy's like, oh no, my daughter's definitely going to be the TikTok star of the world,
Why?
and because that's her. That's their the Kardashians. That's what they do. Their social media. So they got their little girl on there, and I don't know. She's just not. She's just not cute. She's not ugly, but she ain't cute. And they got her. She's the big. She's the big fashion. I guess you compare. She doesn't compare to, but like the Mary Kate and Ashley, uh, rose to fame as little children, and were in the fashion. They're in the fashion industry. A lot of them little girls get into the fashion industry before they can even walk or talk. So that's definitely. But Kanye definitely he don't want her. He's come out and says, I don't want my kids on that. I don't want my kids on that. I don't want Disney having any part of my kids. Blah 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 blah. And they don't need to sell their kids, but I'm sure they have to sacrifice them. Yeah, it's kind of odd to have to watch that. Just like it's kind of odd that we're watching all these things unfold right in front of our eyes, and I feel like Americans are just la di da di da. It's on the TV. It don't mean a thing to me about the internet, and it's like the internet is not the TV. It's a different la di da da, and you better wake up, and you better realize I didn't. I went to a high tech university. My professors would say, "Well, does your son get to use the internet?" And I was like, "Oh hell no!" Like I don't want him on that shit because every time I opened the internet, it was it's pornographic for the first I don't know how many years. I
Let's
don't
see.
know.
There is something. Let's see. TikTok. Let's see. What? Let's like look. Let's see what's gone viral. Okay, TikTok viral videos. Let's go take a peek because I haven't
Let's
looked at
see.
like TikTok in a while. Let's see what has gone viral.
Top 10.
Let's see. Let's find out.
How many have kids in it? And how many have net cases?
Okay, so Reese Hardy crying. Okay, so this
She's
is.
young.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so someone crying. Walk a mile. Okay, so we have nonsensible. Okay, so we have people breaking their ankles and causing.
Ow.
What the fuck is this?
Another idiot move.
Really? Okay, what is this?
Fetish.
Yeah, that
Foot
last one
fetish
was
stuff.
fetish. That last one was
So is
fetish.
this. This
Just
carrot
crazy
thing.
filters. This is what is like. This is considered top 10 on TikTok. What the hell is this? Eating a. What is this? Kinder Joy eggs or something like that? This is what people watch on TikTok?
I don't know. I went down the TikTok alley last night. I was up, like, my son woke me up, and I was on there for about 2 hours, and I got looped into the Kardashians, obviously. uh, the one chick that imitates the Kardashians, she's pretty hella funny. She pretends like she's all Courtney, Chloe, and Kim, and she does her little dialogues based on the show.
All at the
It's
same
hella
time?
funny. Yeah, she's all three people. So she'll, obviously she has a wig on. She has wigs on for each different girl, and then she does their inflections in their voices, how they, how they talk to each other. It's very entertaining, and she does get a lot of hits on that. But yeah, that was that. And then I don't know. So I know we're all being targeted by different algorithms. That's why I like to ask people, well, what did you watch? What did you see? What are you getting? What are you seeing on YouTube? What are you seeing on TikTok? Because they're going to show me these are the top tens. I never seen any of these videos here.
None of
I get
these.
a lot of the I get a lot of the guy that goes on the street and takes photos of people, and a lot of the homeless, or a lot of the dudes that are giving homeless people money. So I'm targeted by certain social things. I feel like things that are happening socially that are maybe not as deviant, maybe not the Dylan Mabalbi kind of crap TikToks, but I get his too sometimes.
I was just seeing that Dylan is upset now with biological women who are like coming
Yeah,
at him, and he's acting like he's a victim after,
yeah.
and then other trans people who have had like the bottom surgery and stuff are upset with
Mhm.
him about the tampon use because there is a legitimate reason why a male to female transsexual would want to use tampons, and that's to absorb all the blood from
Yeah, there was.
the wound which has been
Yes,
created to make the artificial vagina. I don't
yes.
feel any more intelligent, Cali after going through like some of these clips through TikTok. I don't feel like I'd gained any amount of intelligence from watching any of this. Is this just
No,
something people do to pass the time?
I mean the attention span is really it's your attention only has to be for so long because they're so quick, and so you're gonna know right away. Uh, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this because I like to watch this guy, see these guys' pictures. The guy that clicks the pictures of people and then shows us the pictures. He goes up on the street, and I don't know if you've seen him. That's kind of enjoyable because you get to see, everyday people being photographed and looking absolutely gorgeous in their pictures. And it's not necessary. I mean, they are beautiful people already because people are mostly beautiful when you look at the outside. There's the exceptions of an ugly person, maybe somebody that's deformed or whatever. And even they're not ugly if you look inside their heart. Um, but like the some of the TikToks are just, it feels like they're brainwashing me. Like I can't, I just feel like when I get caught in the loop, like I'll just be like watching, 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 watching. It's a loop. It's like you're just into somebody's mind for 1 second and then you're out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
Oh, that sounds just so. Oh my lord,
I
could you imagine?
know,
And then
I
they want
know.
to add hallucinogens and psychedelics on top of that?
Well, and I'm not sure that some of them don't already have an aspect of mind control in them through their music, through other visual clues that they're putting in their thing. I know music is one thing that will, a lot of creators will use the same music, and then when you hear that music, it's doing something to your brain. It's familiar. It's familiar. So then the next, I want to say MFer that comes along, I want to say it in the whole word, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try to be nice. The next person that comes along and uses that same music, you're going to think you already know that creator, but you don't, and you're going to watch something you don't want to watch, and you're going to be exposed to something that you don't need to be exposed to.
Oh, every day under Biden's regime. Ugh, it's like every day I wake up. I wake up and I'm like this. I'm like, I am so happy to be alive and everything. And then I acknowledge that I'm still under the Biden regime with everyone else. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I am not his wife or his kid. I am thankful because I'm going to do a gratitude moment. It's like, I am so thankful that he's not my father.
Oh
It's
God.
like, I am so thankful that I'm not him. All that. Now, Adam Gottlieb over here is saying that TikTok was his red pill gateway. Adam, are you in the Jitsi right now?
Well, and then that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Well, I
But
want to
I can.
hear. Since he's in the Jitsi, I'm wondering. And
Oh,
good, and
okay.
hey, Super
Yeah,
Choker, you're in
so
here
so
too.
TikTok is a double-edged sword. So there's a lot of people there waking people up. In addition to the fact there's a lot of retarded waste your time type stuff. It depends on how you kind of orient yourself. So it was something I started off as like, hey, what is this TikTok thing? Retarded videos, blah blah blah, girls dancing, whatever. And then all of a sudden I start getting truth. And so we have to look at the TikTok thing as a tool. It's a weapon like any other.
And how did it red pill you?
There's just a lot of red pillars out there. So you'll hear Reverend Rand talk about this. He's got a channel, and there's just truthers on TikTok, and the algorithm, the way it works is if you start spending more time between someone red pilling you.
Cut off. But
Did,
I think I think he's right in a way, because that's where I got introduced to the McDonald videos, the music videos. But I was on. I literally woke up at about midnight, and I was just flipping and flipping and flipping, and then I looked and I was like, "Oh shit! It's 2 a.m. already. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta get up in the morning." And it just stole my time. Like, I did not even. The 2 hours went by so fast, and some of it was hilarious, and some of it I got too many Kim Kardashian videos and stuff about Kanye, and I purposely do not watch your show. If I see it on TV, I'm like, oh no, I'm not going back to that channel all day long, because I know it's going to be on that channel all day long, and I don't want to even hear their voices.
I don't know. I'm like looking at this. I don't use TikTok. As you guys know, I don't have a handheld device or a PDA or any of that kind of thing. So I don't use TikTok. Now I know I could like use it on the PC. I get that. I could use it on my
It's on
desktop.
YouTube.
Yeah, I could use.
It's just YouTube now. YouTube, if you turn on YouTube, like if I turn on my phone and I go to YouTube, they might just be starting me off on the TikToks without me picking what I want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I open the app, it starts with the TikTok videos. Like before, when I opened the YouTube app, I got a choice to go pick something that I wanted to watch. I was offered suggestions, obviously. Now it just goes straight to start and playing the videos. There's not a choice. It just you're on YouTube and you're gonna watch a video. I'm gonna see if it does it right now. See
Okay.
what it suggests for me.
Well, while you're
Uh,
doing that, I'm going to go on to Transition or Die is a flawed premise pushing transgender hormones. Surgeries for Youth's new guide says. Long-term counseling informed consent process advocated instead of rapid affirming care. See, and that's what that pre-show. For those of you who saw the pre-show and saw that video I played of one of my appointments with a psychotherapist, I was rapidly affirmed. I mean, so rapidly. And even after I raised two red flags saying I want to stop twice in the first 6 months before any surgeries occurred, I said I wanted to stop, and they did not stop. They just regender affirmed me and, like, coddled me a bit. And she was like, well, were you coerced? It's like, no, I wasn't coerced. I didn't say this, but now that I should have said it at the time. And I think I say it like later on in the other sessions I have with her. I say I was groomed, because that's how they get around it, the coercion. It's like, well, we didn't coerce you. It's like you groomed me. It's like that.
yeah,
That's even more
yeah,
nefarious than coercion, because at
yeah,
least when you're being coerced,
yes.
you know that you're being coerced. When you're being groomed, you don't know that you're fucking being groomed at the time. And they also caught me in a very high state of anxiety. So, transition or die. Some parents have been told that they failed to support a gender questioning child's desire to transition to the opposite gender, their child may commit suicide. Now, I want to say something. Number one, I want to find out where the soy section of Odysee is, Johnny Engineer, because I'd like to go on over there during this show. All right, but this transition or die scenario, often used to justify transgender medical treatments for minors, is factually inaccurate and ethically questionable. According to a new treatment guide released by the Gender Exploratory Therapy Association, an organization of professionals from the United States and several other countries. Oh, let's hope that this goes someplace positive. The
I
United
mean,
Kingdom. What's
it's
up?
satanic ritual abuse. So why isn't the church even talking about it?
Where did I mention a church?
Oh, I'm mentioning the church because this is satanic ritual abuse, and the Catholic Church should be all over that with their exorcism and stuff.
Hey,
They stopped doing exorcisms.
so I have a little bit of a theory here.
What's up?
So you know how they're trying to normalize mental health euthanasia, right? You see where I'm going
In
with-
certain, yeah, are they? But in Canada only, or is this spreading?
well, it's a global satanic, agenda. But my point is that can you kind of see how if you peer through the looking glass, you'll see in their plan that they want to kind of make this, if you're having gender dysphoria issues, the alternative to gender affirming care is suicide. That's what they're saying.
Oh yes, that is what they're
If they
saying.
normalize medically assisted suicide, we end up with a culture who in the future, whenever there's mental health issues, the alternative is just, well, then Kevin, so you're having a hard time with your transition here, perhaps you could take the alternative route. And we'll
But-
help you with that.
If I
You get what I'm
commit,
Yeah, wow.
You know where I'm going?
well,
Yeah.
yes, and now I'll take it even further. I'll be like this, doctor. If I am to die, could I have a double D rack installed so that the casket can barely close? I want that casket door when that thing, when that lid comes down. I want to hear I want people mourning to hear an audible, like just like.
So unfortunately, we're adults, but children hear the political propaganda, even when parents are extremely careful about exposing children to this stuff. They hear it whether it's in their preschool or their elementary. I mean, preschool where my son learned about colored kids. He knew that we didn't talk about gender or color until he went to school. And the first day he came home, he knew about a black kid. And I was just like, what the fuck did they teach you? They taught him that, there are differences between certain types of children. And one of
Yes.
them is the color of their skin. He was taught that in school, in preschool, at a college development center. Okay, I don't want to get off track here. So, yeah, I just always know that the children have ears. The children hear. And, in my day, it was hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. I didn't know a lot of shit, but I still knew a lot of shit.
Right?
Yes, because, there was, adult spaces and there was children's spaces. And this whole thing is about removing adult spaces and children's spaces and making it one space.
Oh, that
where
should not
everybody-
happen.
Where everybody is given the same treatment, regardless of their age, their consent. And it's very, well, and people they don't want to hear the Nazi word. It's very much like that. Like I was saying yesterday about the homosexuals that they rounded up, and some of them were given the option, and it wasn't a choice, like you pointed out. They were given an option. You either go through this gender transitioning or you die.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? You're going to obviously, I mean, maybe some people would just, some men or some women would just be like, well, no, I'm not going to do your medical experiments. Just kill me.
That's
Just go
it, too.
ahead, okay?
In real, in real gender affirmation with this, it's like you can't force this on someone. You can't make someone take on characteristics which they do not espouse. It's just that I think I would choose death if somebody if I were to be put in that situation again. And if those were my only two options, I would choose death. At least I'm not committing suicide. It's like, if those are my only two options, I would never go through the process again.
And
With the kids, And they say, like, the fears about suicide have helped drive the trend towards gender affirming treatment. And under this model, the therapist readily accepts the patient's self diagnosis and then assists with transitioning. One moment.
Yeah, children don't want to die. That's
Well,
one of the most scariest thing to a child.
well, the thing is, like, the child isn't being told about, like, what happens after. Like, like, the rest of their life, they have to pay for this. The rest of their life, they have to, like, take the hormones. The rest of their life, they're going to be having difficulties, like perhaps with diabetes, clots, high blood pressure, any number of like psychiatric things with these puberty blockers. We're talking about stunted bone development. We're talking about stunted hormonal development, cranial development. We're talking about the actual cerebral areas of the brain in general. We're talking about like that is all going to be stunted, and these
And
are things.
you understand all that as an adult, but a little child who is, they're pushing this on babies, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They don't know any of the things that you just spoke about. They do know about killing themselves and about dying and being killed.
And why do they
Um,
know that? And why do they know that?
well, I think at a certain point, like up until 8 or 9, they don't really know about death in a way that it's permanent. It's a different kind of feeling. They just know that when somebody dies, they're gone and they're gone. Um, child development. Like I'm not a child development specialist. Somebody out there knows child development and the brain more than I do. I'm going from, maybe 1 or 2 classes I took on child development. Children just are not like that. And that is the reason why in our country, the United States of America, we have laws that protect children that are 18 and under. But it doesn't, I don't hear anybody talking about these laws. And that's
Well,
another peculiar thing is that the internet seemed to have just been a hodgepodge of entertainment. And now all of a sudden, did you notice some of the doctors are actually speaking up? Dr. Drew Pinsky obviously is one of the premier doctors that's getting on there, but
speaking up about what?
a lot of the other doctors didn't say shit for a long time.
But
I
speaking up
I
about
don't know,
what?
maybe about anything, about everything, about everything. All this is all doctors. The doctors need to. If the doctors are in charge and they paid a lot of money to go to college, like the doctor that's helping you. Like I was listening to her and I don't want to make any judgments at this point, but I don't feel like the people in the chat either. Some of them, I was reading some of their comments and a few of them said, I don't like her, I don't trust her. Where'd she get her degree? Blah, 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 blah. Um, the doctors are the ones that write the books. The academics, okay, let's not even talk about the doctors. Let's talk about the scholarly academics, the professors. Where are they in the story? Where
Well,
are their. I just want to know where the smart people are.
I'll tell you in this case, as it was explained during that appointment, they didn't know. They don't have the information to make an assessment which can have a 100% favorable outcome. By her own admission, she stated that they were working on limited knowledge. So they're guiding people to make permanent changes to their bodies under the guise of care and to help people prevent death by suicide while not understanding the repercussions nor the outcomes for the patients who they, in this case, gender affirming, who they gender affirm, they are still experimenting on the patient at this point. They don't know what this is going to do to anyone long term. They're hopeful for a positive outcome, as she was stating towards the end of our appointment when I was asking about other detransitioners. And she said that she knows very few of them However, later it is talked about where there will be more and more and more detransitioners come out, and detransition as a phrase is actually very inaccurate. There's nothing to detransition to. After
Right.
you transition, you cannot detransition. There is no detransition. I don't know why the detrans was chosen. It's more like salvage. It's like gender salvaging after that because to there's nothing to go back to. You can't turn the clock back. You can't reverse the surgeries. So you salvage whatever wreckage is left after this whole
Yeah,
process.
yeah, for sure. That's totally. Um, you can't put the penis back on. You can't replace. You can't put the clitoris
You
back.
can't
It
put the
doesn't work
uterus
that
back in. You can't put the tits back on the rib cage. You can't do any of that stuff. And they're concerned about kids committing suicide. Well, wait till that kid hits the age of 22 and realizes that they can't, or he or she can no longer afford the hormones, or he or she can no longer, because I'm done with that they shit. He or she can no longer maintain their exterior image because biology always wins. It's like unless you undergo extensive and continual maintenance on whatever gender expression you're working on, biology wins. Hands down, every time.
Yeah, look at all the old people. We
Thank you,
get
Mad
old.
World.
That's all you can do. You get old. It's gonna happen. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna look in the mirror and you're gonna say, "Who the hell is that old lady?
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know
you
who that
tried to be
is."
a man and you end up an old lady. You try to be a lady and you end up an old man. I just can't wait to see what Bruce Jenner looks like in another couple of years. All right. Everything okay, so Mad World, thank you for the support. Everything is compartmentalized, each one on their own little box, no communication by design, i.e. 9/11. Okay, not emergency cops, but 9/11 cops and firefighters. The workers at CERN, too many to name, all those against God's children. I wonder what's going on with that CERN thing and the fusion. I wonder if those two things are related at this point. So, yeah.
Well, they have the Hadron Collider in Palo Alto.
Oh, do they? What are they
Oh
doing
yeah,
over there?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's been there since after World War II. I know my grandpa worked there,
Is it
so I don't know.
operational?
I don't know what they do there. All I know is they were splitting atoms and whatever. I don't know anything about it because, like I said, as a child, I heard no evil, I saw no evil, and I spoke no evil. I
Mm.
was not allowed to know these things. So there's a lot of history I don't know. That's why I'm always trying to find out stuff about, just find out stuff that happened and why did they keep us in the dark, about everything that was going on? Well, I think they did that so that they could do what they're doing now. So this is not something that just, somebody just thought up one day. Let's, do this massive gender. Like what were you? I don't know what the article was before that you were saying. Oh, TikTok and how they're at war with us. What did they say? What was that line we kind of glazed over? The CCP. I don't know what it was, but it just kind of you were reading it and I was like, yeah, they're using it as a war machine. It's a war machine.
It's a psychological operation. And I guess it
Mm-hmm.
really depends on who's populating it. As we found out from Adam Gottlieb, there are a number of people out there on TikTok doing the red pill events and such. There's a whole lot of garbage in there also. And then you find out that Chinese TikTok is completely different. Like it's highly educational. Some guy from Maine, thank you so much for the support. If there are unlimited genders, where are all the animals identifying as whatever? Oh, right. There are only two genders. Thanks. Absolutely, man.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
watched a great video. I'm gonna put it up. It was about the guy who works at the ark. The guy that works at the ark. I don't know where it's at. The ark or the Noah's Ark, and he was explaining about animals and the kinds and it was extremely. It's a half hour or something, so you can watch it here. But it was extremely informative about how gender, about gender and about, you know, you just have to watch it. You'll have to watch it. You'll enjoy it, I think.
Okay.
Let me
So
put it up.
on the note of Noah's Ark, I watched a video recently, and it's about those animal circles. I don't know if some of you guys have seen these like animals walking in circles. There are people out there suspecting that the animals walking in circles signal a coming of destruction for the planet, because apparently when Noah's Ark, when that time happened, God calls upon the animals to gather and then go to a certain place to be collected and such. So, since God is eternal and God exists, it is a interesting event. I have never seen animals circle like that in my life, unless they were tethered to something to form such perfect circles. So, oh my lord, what is this over here, Gray Man? Oh, are those all the symbols for all the different genders? Anyway, Noah's Ark. We might be coming back to like a new ark. It might be happening by the way the animals are acting. Then again, the videos, who knows? Are they real? I don't know. My dogs aren't walking. Well, that one dog. Well, she had a brain infection when she was a puppy. So I don't think that she's signaling the coming of God or Christ. I think that my puppy is just retarded, and that's why she walks in circles. However, I don't know. It could be a sign. This strange new organ transplant method raises urgent questions. Ron track is the 5. Do you think it's the 5G, Mad World? Do you think that's what's going on? Well, the 5G, I don't think that has much to do with Noah's Ark. Oh my lord. You're missing some things here. There are some things missing from this flag. I'm just saying. Well, Fog, my god. Okay, yes. Come to Kevin's Cat Coffee Hour just to admit your crimes. Yes, do that. And soldier. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. And these people jack in. Whenever people start finally jacking into, what do you call it, metaverse or like whatever it is that people are going to like jack into, and they're completely oblivious to what's going on. I've already said this. I'm going to steal your bike. I'm going to sell it back to you on the metaverse. That's right.
Oh, I told my nephew if I ever caught him with that on, I was going to kick him right where it counts.
As that, oh,
Yeah,
don't do that. That is so evil
I
and
know.
wicked. Oh
But
no.
if you're gonna give up your vision, whatever, and be in another world, and I'm in that world with you. I'm in the world. I'm in the real world, and you're in some other world. No, 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 no,
So you're going to
no.
inflict incredible pain on someone
Yeah,
because
my nephew, because I felt like
Cali girl.
if I didn't do that, he's already lost. He already is lost in something. He's already lost in something. I can't lose him in another freaking world.
Well, then tap him on a back, but don't kick him in the
No, because he's
testicles.
not even gonna put that shit on him, and not in front of me. Nobody is.
Okay,
Nobody
well,
is.
I
Yeah,
will
that's my
say
feeling. My
I
feeling.
I can be kicked in the crotch all day, all night now. But I
I
remember when I
know.
had testicles. Oh my lord. I guess there is a silver lining to the whole transition. I'll never have to worry about that fucking pain ever again, because let me tell you something, ladies out there. You guys do not know what it's like to be kicked in the testicles. That's,
No, we don't.
you might say that you might okay, so you might say this. Oh, well, we know what it's like to birth children. It's like, yeah, but you don't have a baby every time someone kicks you in the crotch. So, there's
Thank
that.
God.
I mean, even grazing the testicles in an incorrect manner. I mean, I'm sure like the men right now are probably like doing the little
Cringing.
that kind of thing,
You
because
definitely got me thinking about it.
yeah,
I
we
don't put those. Don't go into the virtual world. That's all I'm saying. That's just my feeling. That's how important it is for me for you guys not to go in there.
you know what, Mad World, though? It's like, yes, you guys have periods, you guys can have babies, but once again, it's like, you don't have a period or have a baby every fucking time someone, like, brushes up against your testicles or, like, kicks your testicles or punches you or grabs them or squeezes them and just twists them. And it's like, oh, and then, like, there's so many horrible things you can
Well,
do with
it is a
testicles.
fetish. It
What?
is. It is a fetish.
It is a fetish for some, but for the majority of men out there, they
No.
don't
Yeah.
enjoy that shit. Ah,
So that's another thing I'd love to watch is the soft, what is it? Soft under white belly.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen that one. I've
Do you
seen
ever
he does
watch
those black
his
and white
videos?
interview. Yeah, he does the black and white interviews, and he also does the color interviews with like the prostitutes and the hillbillies
He
and
does
the
everything.
yeah
He does a
everything.
lot
Yeah,
of people. Yeah, he's very interesting as a sociologist. I can't watch a lot of the videos all the way through because the victim comes out too easily in them.
really.
The empowered ones I like, but when they're just talking about their victimhood, it gets somewhat cringy for me.
Yeah, it
Um,
does.
but speaking of interviews, I didn't like that your doctor was trained in DVT. I know some people are for that, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I don't trust it. I know some people. You were saying you liked it. You did it, and you liked it.
I did it, and it gave me the toolbox I needed to even myself out and remain in control of my chaotic brain. And that's the part I liked about. The other part I liked about DBT is that you can weaponize it.
Oh, well, and
It
that's why I was. That's why my concern was. You said, I've heard it be that I heard that. I've never done it before, but I have my concerns about weaponizing. We've talked about this before. Um, yeah, it just concerns me that that was one of her areas of specialization was gender affirming. Her specialization was in gender affirming and DVT, and I forget what else she said, but those two things stuck out to me.
well, this is gonna stick out a bit too. Is this whole strange new organ transplant method is raising urgent questions. Now we're gonna get into some ethics on this one because we're talking about taking organs from partially resuscitated people and look toward to genetically modified pigs. We're talking about. You remember when Alex Jones was talking about those? Was Alex Jones talking about pig people at any point? Let me look. Alex Jones pig human hybrid.
Alex is another one of those that I can only watch for so long because his screaming just.
Here we go. Alex Jones warns of pig gorilla human hybrids who can talk. Okay, now listen to this shit. Now, this is coming out of the Epoch Times. We're talking about if your loved one has a needed organ transplant, you know the problem firsthand. You know, you've got the waiting list. The desperate need and potential profits have fueled a Frankenstein like effort to find or create organs to give recipients a longer lease on life. Are you responding over there, Mr. Maine? Oh, no reason, only curious. Okay, well there you go. I don't know how late I'm going today. We'll see where it goes. All right. The need for organs can be a matter of life or death in the United States. Over, like there's like 105,000 people who probably sit on the waiting list like every year, and every 9 minutes a new name is added. 17 people die every day while waiting for an organ transplant in the United States, according to the government's organ donor website. The most common transplant operations are for hearts, kidneys, livers, pancreas, lungs, bone and bone marrow, skin, and intestine. Oh, really? Are we parts? Are we just parts, really? I don't want other people's parts in me. I don't want other people's blood in me. I don't want. It's just like I come with what I have, and once it's done, it's done. I'm trying to think. Do I have any? Do I have anyone else's parts in me? Anyway, this story is talking about these human-animal hybrids, where you bring an animal into existence. That animal has human-compatible organs and tissues. You harvest the animal, or you use reviving the dead partially. Doctors using a relatively new procedure called NRPC-DCD, which is normothermic regional perfusion with controlled donation after circulatory death. Good lord. Could you imagine just the smallest part of your limbus region or limbic region being reactivated and that's it? So here, okay, here, I'll look up limbic region so you guys know what I'm talking about. Limbic region of brain. Okay. The limbic system, also known as the paleomammalian cortex, is a set of brain structures located on both sides of the thalamus immediately beneath the medial temporal lobe of the cerebellum, primarily in the forebrain. It supports a variety of functions, including emotion, behavior, long-term memory, and olfaction. So the reason why I brought up the limbic system is because that is where the long-term memory is stored. So it would stand to reason that that could also be where your consciousness is stored. And if you reinitiated the limbic system in a person who had passed away, and if that was part of what got reactivated, because you won't know, because they can't tell you, because the rest of the frontal lobe has not been activated, the parietal lobe has not been activated, but the limbic system would be very easy to reactivate. You'd be aware, is what I'm trying to say. You'd be trapped, and you'd be aware. Just saying. As they're
Crazy.
harvesting. As they're harvesting you. In this procedure, terminal patients are allowed to die and then be partially resurrected. Partially resurrected. Their blood is circulated with the help of machines that warm it, but the arteries that feed the brain are clamped off and oh, well, thank you, that they had the foresight to go and clamp off the fucking vessels to the brain so it didn't because I bet they found out. I bet they fucking found out when they were doing this. They probably had like the brain under some sort of like, I don't know, MRI or something like that. And then all of a sudden they saw activity in the limbic system and they were like, shit, this patient is alive and nonverbal, non-mobile.
Ugh.
Oh my lord, could you imagine? And they'd also be blind. They'd be blind and deaf, but they'd be able to feel. That's the crazy. Yes, yes. Fucking.
That's torture.
Oh, you could do that to. Oh lord, that you could do that to people as like a death sentence. You could put somebody into a suspended state where the faculties are removed, where they cannot interact with the outside world, and the only thing you can do is give them a sensation. So you could sit there and you could just vivisect them all day, and they would not complain, but inside they'd be screaming. It's like I have to scream, but I have no mouth. It's like, and
It's,
everything is being machine driven, oxygenated, nephresis. All these lovely things our bodies do for us can be done by machines. And to think that you could be kept alive and harvested. Wow.
no, is that the same thing that happens to the patients that go under anesthesia but they're still awake?
No, they're just paralyzed. And that point,
They're just paralyzed. Okay.
that's a mechanism of VEC. And what
So
it
is this
does is
this
it
is somebody that's already died and they're bringing him back to life?
partially.
Oh God!
They're
So they're
only
bringing
but in this
the
one,
memories.
what's up?
The memories coming. The memories are in the body, but the body's dead.
Well, the memories, I don't know exactly how
Oh
memory
God!
works, but I will tell you this. When I was in the 8th grade, I accidentally auto asphyxiated myself in a bathroom. Okay? And I was putting on my tie, and I accidentally tied my tie too tightly. And I ended up like passing out because there was no blood flow because I didn't, hello, 8th grade, and growing up on a farm, and the principal was the one who was sexually abusing us in the locker room and stuff like that. Well, I was like very nervous and everything like that, and I wanted to look presentable because I would be yelled at. And I ended up choking myself with my own necktie, fell down on the ground, did not realize it. Somebody came and rescued me. I can tell you this: when I don't know if I was dead, I probably wasn't dead, but I definitely was asphyxiated or choked, strangled. I strangled myself accidentally. It hurts when you're coming back. It fucking hurts. It hurts a lot when you're coming back into consciousness after being unconscious from having lack of oxygen to the brain. It really fucking hurts. It feels like you're being sliced all over your body, and I think it's because your oxygen is so depleted that when the oxygen finally starts to reflow, everything just kind of it's like you're lighting on fire is what it feels like. So yes. So Adam got kicked last night, and then some guy from Maine says you need more than kicking. And then Adam is saying, I've strangled myself allegedly in Minecraft. Well, yeah. Yeah. Alright, so.
Well, if you're gonna get dark, fuck.
Well, right?
So in Minecraft, if you die, are you dead or do you come back to life?
Well, in Minecraft, if
Well,
you die, what does happen?
I mean, I could answer that question, but you can't strangle yourself in Minecraft.
No, but you can drown
No,
someone.
I'm just saying if you die, like if you get killed or something in there, do you have to come back as a new character or can
It
you
depends on like whether
life
you're playing
path?
like a one life server or if you're playing like a respawn server. So if you
Uh,
die on a one life, like a hardcore, you just die. You're done. You have
you
to
just
start over.
and you have to be a new character or can you come back as that same character? You be
Um,
Uh,
you come back with your
you're
same character model.
yeah, yeah. So
That's
that's what
not
I'm
how
talking about,
Minecraft
kids
works.
too, not understanding death, when you can die in a game and then all of a sudden you're back.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't want any like dog I don't want any like freaking animal organs or anything like that. And then they're
Oh,
talking about, see, I love Epoch Times because it goes so in depth. But then they
yeah, they
talk about
seem
things like diseases like HIV, Ebola, hepatitis B, and most recently, bird flu originating in animals, wrote Laura Purdy, who is a co author. Pigs were, where current xeno research is now focused, are thought to have been a vector for the devastating 1918 influenza pandemic. So, yeah, you go and you start making these chimeras of human animal hybrids, you're going to open up a whole new box of diseases.
so I put that link for that one video where he's explaining about the kinds and you know creatures because there was all this question. The reason why he does his presentation, I think, was because people would say, "Well, how did they fit all those animals on the ark?" And he's explaining how you don't have to have all the animals on the ark, but you can't really. He's talking about you can't really breed a horse with a cat.
Well, I nor should you. The cat would explode.
Yeah, so he's explaining why that doesn't happen, and so even if they're doing those kind of things in labs, I'm not sure that the lab animals are living that long.
Well, they're probably not. I mean, they
That's why we're
only.
not seeing them running all over the place, because
Well,
if they were
why?
out there
Well, why
and
would
they
we
got
see them running all over the place,
well,
though?
if they were, yeah, if they were making them and they were viable, um, then we'd be seeing them on the internet for sure, for sure, for sure. Somebody would be showing it.
Well, good morning, Matt Beebe. I love these I love this. I've seen this video before. I like this video. I'm not gonna play the video right now, but I do enjoy this video. I do want to look at something though. What is that Odyssey thing? One moment. Let me go and like copy this because I'm gonna like watch this later because I do enjoy that. I haven't seen it in a while. Okay, so we're gonna put that one on pause. And what is the soy section of Odyssey? Can somebody show me?
What is what?
Soy section of Odyssey. Adam, are you still there?
Yeah, what do you want to see?
What is the soy section of Odyssey?
Sly? What?
Soy!
Soy? SOY?
Soy,
S-O-Y.
like soy boy?
How do you get to the soy section of Odyssey?
I have no
It's
idea. Your
mine.
algorithm looks exactly like mine. You got like based shit, you know? I don't know.
Yeah,
Is there a soy section?
Just
I
type
don't
in
think I.
normie shit. What is normie
Does
shit?
Odyssey have anything normie or yeah? Just type in normie shit.
Um,
Rod would know better.
um,
Paul, why don't you jump in and fucking tell him? Because you're the fucking resident fucking normie fag.
there. Something. Okay, chocolate chip cookies. That's pretty normie, isn't it? Oh. Oh, Odyssey has.
Normal stuff like you could like learn how to bake a cookie.
Oh my gosh, Odyssey has normal stuff? I didn't know Odyssey had normal stuff.
I mean, I would guess that all the creators from any other, like the YouTubers or whatever, even if they're not censored and there's a new space, some people are just keeping, they have all their stuff and they just move it to the next spot. And, I mean, you can actually just put your ULRs and everything in Odyssey, I think. So,
Well, let me see. I think I just found. Okay, so Matt Beebe
Hold on.
has
I
dropped
think we
this
do have
off.
to clarify something. There's a
Dude.
difference here between normal and normie, and I think we have to address that.
What is the difference?
So we're all ordinary people who do things like eat and want cookies and there's people who want to just make stuff that's in that realm, and then there's like the normie, which is like the mainstream, like just receive information, don't know the difference. I don't know if you can really be normie and on Odyssey. Normal stuff maybe, but not normie, if that makes any sense.
That does
we're
make sense.
Doesn't
abnormal.
understand shit. I don't think you're on Odyssey if you're in that category.
That's it right there. Caffeinated Keck said it best. It's like, and good morning, Caffeinated Keck. Welcome to my video about baking cookies and the secret cabal of elite pedophiles who don't want you to bake the cookies. And that is why I used to make those baking, yes, Maine, just a moment. That's why I used to make those cooking videos where I'd be like
Yeah.
making something and having a political discussion while creating a very fucking amazing meal. Maine,
I
what's
love
up?
those.
Thank you. Maine, what's up?
That's what got me kind of hooked on watching you. And well, I don't know. I liked also your traveling thing too. In the very beginning, I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah, the travels were nice. Okay, Maine.
Well, because it's interesting. What are people doing?
All right.
Yes.
All I wanted to do was say that Odyssey isn't just us yelling about politics. Odyssey, believe it or not, has the same fucking content that YouTube does, minus the roll a fucking cock ring on my penis.
Right? Did you all see that? Did you all
Yes.
see that?
And we do not need to see it again, thank you.
Well, if I show it, I can warn you and you can just close your eyes.
I'm pretty sure Odyssey doesn't have dick or dildo either.
Well, let's see. Okay, so this is that. This is happening.
No.
Well,
It's like, look it up.
Well, now I want to know. Wait a minute. I want to see if Ryan TV is on here. Don't leave.
Funny you said don't leave. I actually hit the hang up button, but it didn't connect on my fingers, so I'm actually still here.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like witchy like that. I've got this like thing. But okay, so yeah, Ryan TV didn't come up, and I'm not gonna type in dildo or cock ring or something like that. I'm not gonna do that. But now I'm curious. What is this? Horse trouble?
Okay, bye.
Oh, okay. See you later, Maine. Look at this. I didn't know you could find a cheesecake casserole on Odyssey. Oh, and it's this bitch. I hate this bitch. I hate this bitch so much. Who is it? Maybe it's somebody else, but there's this other one who just bothers me because it's very much ASMR and it does that same shit where it's like sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. It's like, oh, just fucking, just
Clicking your nails.
You know who I like here? Hold on. You know who I like? Let me show you this. Is it the Hillbilly Kitchen? Hillbilly Kitchen. Let's see. Oh, now, why can't I? See, it's affected me. Alright, let's see. Okay, she's not there. Is she over here? Hillbilly Kitchen. I like this woman. Is she gonna come up? The Hillbilly Kitchen. Okay, that's on eBay. Down Home Country Cooking. This woman right here.
Howdy folks, welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Y'all come on in, drag up a chair, and let's set a spell.
I love her. I love her. I'm gonna give her a thumbs up just for showing up. It's like, she makes some of the most hearty, inexpensive, and nutritious meals coming out of her Hillbilly Kitchen. And look at that. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands. She's got all the lovely things in her kitchen all over here. She's a God-fearing woman. She has become a widow. Her husband did die not so long ago. So, yes. If you're familiar with her, let me just go and drop her link in there because I like her. One moment.
Howdy folks,
Yes.
and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen.
Hey, girl. Okay. I enjoy her. So, yes, please. You watch her too, Mad World? Oh, I like her so much. She's down to earth. She's real. She's not full of, like, pretense and all that other shit. Alright, let's see what's happening on CNN, because I don't know. It's 9:12.
She's not produced. She's real. She's doing a real thing.
Yeah, she was
Her
like
stuff.
totally real. What
She's
is
not.
this?
I don't think she's produced, anyways. But
Oh
you know.
no, she doesn't appear to be.
Yeah.
I mean, she might be now. I mean, she's become like quite popular, and God bless her for that. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. It was minorly important. I guess it like slipped my mind.
It'll come
Fusion.
back.
What's up?
It'll come back to
It
you.
might. Yeah, it might come back. Oh, yeah. It's the 45-1 actual Big Dick Energy Brigade radio show. You know that he is going for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday in 2023. Starting on the 17th of this month, he's going on a 2-week hiatus before he goes into his next thing. So, on the 17th going forward to the end of the year, I'm going to be having like, the shows will like break the routine. They'll go like, anywhere from like an hour. They'll at least be a pre-show in an hour, and then every day that 45-1 actual isn't playing, um I'll be doing something, and they can go like more lengthy. However, I also hear that Brad Allen is going to be possibly starting some sort of like morning venue or something. So, yes. I like Brad Allen, and I like his puppet Bruce very much. Feisty, what you got going on over here? The New York Times verified account. By who? Twitter is now handing out yellow stars. You know what that means? Do you know what the yellow star is? Do you know what yellow stars are historically?
Oh my God, sis, not the Jews!
The Jews! Who said that? I'm looking at you.
You resident Jew.
You are Jewish, aren't you?
Oh, Adam Gottlieb, the most Jewish name ever.
You are so Jewish. I'm so glad to know Jew. Okay. So let's see. Mad World. Kevin's Cat at Coffee. What? What is this? YouTube? Rue and Rufuju. Rue? Okay, let's go and take a look at this because I can't read that right now. So apparently when you change genders chemically and it messes with your pancreas, you get diabetes, and then your corneas start to go cloudy. So apparently lopping my nuts and turning my dick and everything else like that has started me to go down the path of developing blindness. So it's not the masturbation you need to worry about, it's the fucking castration. So don't castrate yourselves, because if you castrate yourself, you'll go blind. Okay, so Roots and Refuge Farm. Good to know. Thank you very much for the link. Thank you. I enjoy that because I live out in the country. And more knowledge never hurts. Alright. So, Fogg has a joke for you, Adam, but while Fogg is producing his joke, or... Fuck it. I don't care if I just misgendered someone. I just recently found out today that Mad World is female. Who knew? Anyway, here we go. U.S. officials announced nuclear fusion breakthrough. Now, 45-1 Actual mentioned this yesterday and wondered if I saw it while he was like in his show. He asked if I saw it, and I had seen it like 45 minutes before. I was going to send it to 45-1 Actual during his show. However, because it was announced by CNN, I didn't quite buy it. I was skeptical. So I wanted to go do a little more research. And then while I was doing my research, 45-1 Actual is talking about how it could be used as a weapon. And I'm like, that's exactly what they're going to do with this, probably trying to make it into a weapon. And could you imagine being fused to something you don't want to be fused to? It would not hurt, it would be instantaneous, and you would be gone. You wouldn't even be there to judge the after effects. However, it would suck in a big way for a lot of people all over that area, probably for miles. Miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Fusion's nothing to fuck with. Alright, so... Achieving it is a triumph of science, engineering, and most of all, people. Why? Achieving it is a triumph of science... Oh, of people, I guess, because people brought it into fruition. Boodle said in a statement, "Crossing the threshold is a vision that has driven 60 years of dedicated pursuit. These are the problems that the U.S. national laboratories were created to solve." Okay, so that was like the final word on this whole thing, because these right here, I hate CNN articles. I just do not like them. Say something about why. Okay, Matt BB. Oh, those are green circles? Are those green circles in deserts? It looks like those candy dots you get on those sheets of wax paper from the theater, if they still make those. Alright, so it's a net energy gain is a mile made... See, they haven't... Have they been able to create more energy than they put in, though? Because it doesn't matter if they cause fusion. Were they able to extract? Were they able to perpetuate? Is this a self-perpetuating energy source? The experiment put in 2.05 megajoules of energy to a target and resulted in 3.15 megajoules of fusion energy output. Okay, generating more than 50% more energy than was put in is the first time an experiment resulted in a meaningful gain of energy. Okay, fabulous. Well, what did they use as their catalyst? Did they use deuterium and tritium? Did they use hydrogen and hydrogen? What did they use? I mean, like, what did they use? Boron and lithium? I mean, like, what did they use to fuse? This matters because different compounds have different heat levels, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to, and I would imagine, in this case, is you're trying to make heat to boil water to make steam to run turbines. However, if you have an inefficient fuel source, you're going to need more of a fuel source to make the same amount of energy than, say, like, let's say, tritium and deuterium should produce way more thermic energy than, say, fusing hydrogen and creating helium-3. That kind of stuff. Because you need a lot more of the hydrogen in order to bring it to the same energy level, and you'll never have the right kind of reaction between tritium and deuterium as you would to hydrogen and hydrogen. Tritium deuterium is probably the closest thing that you would get to the most efficient kind of fusion reaction. Let's see. On the sun you have hydrogen and helium. I don't like that idea of like making a little sun on Earth. That just seems I could see like maybe make the sun out there in space and beam the energy back. I mean, if you have the technology, but don't put a little sun on the planet. I just don't see that ending well for anyone. I mean, it's a fucking little star. What you're doing is you're creating the energy of a star on Earth. I like the concept. I don't like the idea of it fucking going haywire. I don't like the idea of it being weaponized. Could you imagine being hit with a star? I mean, you wouldn't realize you were even hit by it. You'd be gone so instantaneously. But just knowing that somebody could throw a fucking star at you. Not a cute one either. Not one of those glitter ones. Just be like an obliterating one. Everything annihilated, singed, burned, melted, molten, liquid.
Sounds like what they did up at Paradise.
Paradise?
Yeah, the fires up here in California, Paradise Fire.
Are those woodland fires?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. They just obliterated the whole city.
What,
Up
with
in the mountains.
with a forest fire or a bomb
Well,
or what?
somebody showed where you have to look it up because it was a big long thing. But somebody was showing the strike that came down that started the fire. Yeah,
Well,
something
I
came
wasn't even
down.
aware
Something
of
came out
that.
of the sky, and it was God. What? How many years ago was that? 4, 5, 6, 5. Yeah, they took out the whole town.
Paradise Fire. Well, what in the hell was going on there? California wildfire leaves town in ruins from the BB
And
20,000 acres.
and the people who owned houses up there, they could not say anything, otherwise their insurance wouldn't get paid out. They had to accept the narrative in order to get their insurance payout.
Well, that may be something we look into at another day.
It's crazy.
Oh,
It's crazy. I had a friend that lived there actually, and my uncle had just moved from there after he'd lived there for a good long time. He had a lot of friends that lived there.
ooh. Well, maybe we'll see some more fires. And not that I'm looking forward to fires, but mark your calendar for the strongest meteor shower of the year coming up. It's like, oh yes, we talked about this like last week, as a matter of fact. 45.1 Actual was here when we were talking about the Geminids. Please look at this 43-second long vid. Okay, Matt BB, I will. So anyway, keep your eyes out for like solar activity. I mean, not solar activity, astral activity, and meteors and other like starry things. If you have a starry night and you're looking and wishing on a Merry Christmas, being only 12 days away. Oh, joy. just a moment here. Let me play this video, and then we're going to move on to the next video, because not only do we have Christmas, we have Kwanzaa.
Why can't we take the salt out of the water?
You can. It just takes energy. Who's paying for the energy? Where are you getting the energy from? It's an energy thing.
But I would think that would be very valuable. I mean, think about how many people buy
It's not
bottles of
valuable
water.
enough yet. That's the point.
Well, is it that
It's
not
pure.
getting
It's
all
just.
that.
It's just money, dude. It's just money. You can ask, what does it cost to ship a half pint of water from Fiji? What does it cost to bottle that in Fiji, ship it here, relative to desalinating the ocean? It's cheaper to ship a pint to Fiji. There'll be a day when that's not the case. And future wars are going to be fought over who has access to fresh water.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, there are going to be future wars fought over that. Because water, I mean, we're already seeing like water levels decreasing. I mean, even in my own pond, I had 3 feet of water loss in like a month. I mean, it was between one time like mowing the lawn, and I walked out to go mow the lawn again like a week or so later, and I looked out at the pond, and I was like, why the fuck is my water level like so low? It had only been a week, and it had rained. It's like, and then I find out from my neighbors that indeed their water levels are also decreasing. And then we look around, like Bruce and I are going out driving, and I'm noticing that the water is disappearing from our wetlands. We're the land of 10,000 lakes. Why is our water going down? That's not right. It's never happened like this before. Okay, so the 12 days of...
Euphrates too is low.
What's up?
The Euphrates River.
Oh yeah, and they say that they hear angels screaming under the Euphrates
well,
River. And it's
I
like,
think that got debunked or something.
well,
but
could you imagine if it is like that?
yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
okay. With Shirley Q Liquor. Now, Shirley Q Liquor, I don't know if y'all have like seen this yet, but it's the 12 days of Kwanzaa. And since we are at the 12th, you know, we've only got 12 days to Christmas, and we have to be culturally accurate and everything. Here, let me shut down the piano music in the background.
Is that 11 shopping days left and one shopping weekend left?
It's kind of like that.
Kind of
Alright.
like it.
Here we go.
Tell you another thing.
Wrong
This
one.
the truth too.
Wrong one. I want the other
Oh,
one.
Shirley.
I want the other one. Yes.
Tell you another thing. This the truth too. They got this new holiday out now called Kwanzaa. I have never figured what that is. And every year it come up the same time, and we go through the same procedure year after year. On the first day of Kwanzaa, my children come up and ask me, and they say, Mama, what in the hell is Kwanzaa for? And see, I don't know. Now, on the second day of Kwanzaa, I schedule a wrestling match. Me and that perpendicular head lady go after it, honey, and I usually bust her upside of her head. Now, on the third day of Kwanzaa, everybody goes down to the stove. Gotta get some malt liquor, 5 lotto tickets. Honey, you never know who's gonna win that thing. You have to play to win. On the fourth day of Kwanzaa, we sit around and look at TV shows, you know, The Young and the Restless, all of my children's One Day to Live, Sally Jesse Raphael, Oprah, Gayle King, Montel, and all them. Now, on the fifth day of Kwanzaa, that's when the checks come in the mail, honey. AFDC, thank you, Lord. We shout and holler praise. Come on, everybody, let's go to the stove for some collard greens, ham hocks, Kool-Aid, and cheese. On the 6th day of Kwanzaa, that's about the time I want to fight. Because that Olin Mills woman be calling over here. Me and her gonna go after it. She always call me, wake me up, want to ask me, do I need my picture took? And then I curse her out. That's wrong, and that's ignorant, that. On the 8th day of Kwanzaa, that's when that drinking will catch up with you, honey. Bunch of 40 ounces, get really full, just totally lose your mind. We drive down the street, cussing out everything that moves, honey. Then we usually bash the Cadillac upside a Dairy Queen or something. Now, on the 8th day of Kwanzaa, we look at the TV guide. Nothing ever on it. We all get hungover. We have a bad headache behind Schlitz malt liquor bug. Lord, just gotta stay home, honey. Be real quiet. Everybody take their nerve pill. You can just start to feel Kwanzaa in the air. Now on the 9th day of Kwanzaa, that's when you paint up all your nails. Turquoise on the nail beds, paint your thumbs gold and silver. Put on blue eyeshadow, polyester wigs, and you will look at it so good, honey. Then we go on down to Kentucky Fried Chickens for some wings and maybe Dr. Pepper. And then I go down and holler at the men's. On the 10th day of Kwanzaa, that's when shoplifting is the thing, honey. 9 cartons of cigarettes, 8 cans of tuna fish, 7 pretty toothbrushes, a 6-pack of Budweiser, 5 Lee press-on nails, 4 Mr. Good Boys, 3 canned goods, some ham hocks, and then probably 2 days back in jail. I've forgotten what the hell I was up in there for, what I was arrested for, girl. On the 11th day of Kwanzaa, honey, they grant parole. You roll up a reefer, go down to church, honey, talk all out your head, get happy, shout, pass out, holler, give your testimony, say, the Lord done set me free, honey. When you give your testimony,
I'm not getting any
then you
sound.
come home, back home, if you can remember where you stayed there, honey. That's what I'm talking about right there. Now, this is the
Same.
last.
I'm having
On the 12th day of
audio issues
Kwanzaa,
too.
the damn kids all gather up around you know. That's what I'm talking about. And in my case,
Yeah, the sound is not in the Jitsi.
Okay, guys. Now, come on now. Y'all talking over the video, the rest of the people on the stream. I'm so sorry that the sound's not coming through the Jitsi. I do not understand why the sound's not coming through the Jitsi, and now Kwanzaa is ruined. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Oh, we ruined Kwanzaa.
Y'all
She
ruined
stole
Kwanzaa.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, though? Okay, hold on. I'm going to back up just a little bit. Y'all just be real quiet, watch it on the stream,
Right.
and just hush. Now, here we go.
Sorry.
And in my case, that's Lincoln and aloe vera. Trying to talk all out your head, get happy, shout, pass out, holler, give your testimony, say, the Lord done set me free, honey. When you give your testimony, then you come on back home if you can remember where you stayed there, honey. That's what I'm talking about right there. Now, this is the last one. On the 12th day of Kwanzaa, your damn kids all gather up around you know. And in my case, that's Lincoln and aloe vera, gynolotrium, lamangelo, arangelo, tenactin, temptasia, K. martina, fallopian, shathid, velveeta, vonquisha, chlamydia, champagne, that's my baby, demactoria, saskatoon, shumika, and skukisha. That's when Kwanzaa start to feel real to me. It'd be more like a feeling of the heart. I know that's right. Where my cigarettes at?
That's right, Shirley Kulicka. Let's go back on over to you. One moment. Okay, so that was Shirley Kulicka. Now, I do not know if Shirley Kulicka is still even alive. Lord, that lady was big. Big old performer. Probably died of a heart attack like a long time ago and everything like that. But if you look up Shirley Kulicka in the archives of the internet, you will find plenty of her shit. And I thought she was funny at the time. All right, guys, and Jitsi is done. Kwanzaa is over. And yes. Now, you're saying that you cannot hear it at all?
We could, yeah, we didn't come through. I put it on my phone so I could listen to it.
Oh, here, let me go and throw
It's just
this
the
up
Jitsi,
again.
though. Don't worry, Kev.
What's up?
It's just on the Jitsi, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was fine on the regular stream.
Well, Jitsi lives matter. So here, let me go and throw this up now because who threw
Don't
this
play it
at me?
again. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, y'all can play it on your own time. I love Shirley Kulicka though, but here we go. This is 15 minutes and 53 seconds long. What the hell is this? This is a episode of what is this? The Big Bang Theory? Were you sharing? Was I supposed to play this? Let me back up.
Where did that come from?
Okay. So, Mad World, thank you very much for the support. You said Michael Armstrong Big Bang never made sense. Thunderbolts. And then you put in this link. Am I supposed to play this link? That's a 15-minute and 53-second link. You know what, though? Let's go and take, a little breaky, shall we? And I'm going to play this while we take, a little break. Don't pander to the California fuckers in Jizzy. You know, Maine, it wasn't that I was trying to pander to anyone in Jitsi. It's that they went and fucking ruined Kwanzaa. Wait a minute. Let me put them up here. Cali Girl and Eric.
And is that who you were pandering to? Me?
And Eric Gottlieb. And I don't know if Super Trucker had anything to do with it. Because I don't think Super Trucker is part of California. But I do believe that Super Trucker would have had a certain amount of respect for Shirley Kulika. But apparently no one could hear her or him or whatever. The performer, who never performed for children, by the way. Back in my day, drag queens had more common sense than to ever go perform for children. Because our fucking material is racy as shit. That's why adults give us dollars. And sometimes $5. You know, shit. Don't pander. Fun. Okay, so should I play a 15-minute video? Pander free zone.
I don't know.
You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it because, you know, sometimes you don't fuck around. If you don't fuck around, you don't find out. And I feel like fucking around right now. So let me, like, play this. And you guys should be getting volume through the Jitsi now. And, yeah, I'm going to call this a break. I'm going to put on my headset so I can listen to it at least while I am away. So let me turn that on and get my sound set up in OBS. And I wonder where in the world did 45.1 actual go? We will see.
I do gotta say this, Kevin.
What?
Maine, stop flirting with me.
Oh, Adam. Are you obviously are also in California?
No, California Jew.
He is a Californian. Yes, he is. Okay, so here we go. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to listen to it like it's an old-time radio show and go putter around the house a little bit. Here you go.
In the beginning, a long time ago and far, far away, there was nothing, which manifested a singularity, which exploded, and over millions and billions of years produced not only our vast material universe, but also life in the entire spectrum of the non-material or spiritual realm. So goes the Big Bang Theory, encapsulated in one long sentence. Let me reply with, first of all, there is no such thing as nothing, never was and never could be, because you cannot get something from nothing. Nothing nothings, as Heidegger said about nothingness not being able to do anything. Nothingness is just and only a conceptual marker, like zero, used only for contrast and mental reference. To posit otherwise is reification, making something unreal into something real, a violation of rationality, logic, and reason, a breach of intellectual responsibility. Secondly, since we are all familiar with the concept of nothing, the average person should be able to realize that you cannot start creation with it. But a material singularity is an unknown, a more effective yet an even worse reification, and is nothing short of cosmological chicanery. This would seem to be why some cosmologist speculators are replacing nothing with inflation and quantum fluctuations. Is it not germane and crucial to understand why these dystopian concepts were ever devised and gained traction in the scientific community? But more on that later. So, what is a singularity? Is it not just a fabulous invention that can do whatever the theorist needs it to do? In the early days of modern science development, the new, more rigorous approach needed to throw off the oppressive trammels of reality-defying religious dogma and sacred writings, and rightfully so, to uncouple from all mythology. Of late, the marvelous James Webb Space Telescope is making waves in the astronomical and cosmological world of scientism. Some even characterize the effect as inspiring panic. Right now, I find myself lying awake at 3 in the morning, says Allison Kirkpatrick, an astronomer at the University of Kansas, and wondering if everything I've done is wrong. Well, that's the call from this corner, Professor Kirkpatrick. It's about time, and it makes no difference if establishment cosmology pressures you enough to recant. The new exquisite graphic vistas are providing clear and extensive viewing of a vast volume of space and bringing back images that are nothing like you would expect from a violent explosion and its implied expansion. Most people, including many astronomers and cosmologists, realize these images are not like more nebulous hypotheses. They should be increasingly unwilling to conclude that what they are seeing is a manifestation from their own lion eyes. Such good old clarity and vision may sometimes cut through unworthy hypotheses and false theory, especially when many of the theorists already have an uneasy feeling about the foundational assumptions underpinning the Big Bang. From my learning and perspective, the premier astronomer to this point in time was Halton Arp, who earned his PhD from Caltech. For 29 years, he did his stellar work at Palomar Observatory, where he and his associated astronomers, Jeffrey and Margaret Burbidge and others, cataloged enough examples of highly redshifted quasars that were clearly in front of lower redshifted galaxies in the background. Of course, this is an unequivocal violation of expanding universe theory. Being a respected and highly qualified astronomer in the 1970s, he went to the astronomical community, expecting them to see and address the ARP group's findings. They didn't want to hear it, for reasons that should be obvious. Too drastic violation of established theory, too much controversy, too much damage to their standing and careers. Being patient, gracious, and experienced, aware of the sordid history of scientific pioneers being treated as pariahs, like Galileo and Semmelweis, Arp felt this time it would be different if he was patient and careful enough to compile the group's findings in a composite and convincing way. Thus, he authored and published the book Quasars, Redshifts, and Controversies, 1987, portraying and explaining why they should listen. No deal. Still no response except a growing distancing and alienation. Welcome to the cruel dystopian world, Dr. Arp. After about 10 patient years, he got exercised and authored another book with a double entendre title, Seeing Red, June 1997. Seeing Red was an obvious reflection of not only redshift, but of how he felt. When I met Arp at a June 1999 symposium organized by the University of Milano Bergamo in Lombardy, Italy, we were fellow lecturers. I had my copy of Quasars, Redshifts, and Controversies with me in anticipation of getting it autographed. When we talked, and he realized I was representing a group of admirers and supporters of his findings, he not only signed my copy, but gave me an autographed copy of Seeing Red. The ARP group developed a sterling case for a paradigm much superior to the Big Bang. They showed that certain unusual pregnant galaxies with active galactic nuclei, some of which are called Seyfert galaxies, evidently charge up and give birth to expel from their cores twin quasars in opposite directions. These expulsions are usually perpendicular to the plane of the galaxy. These expelled highly redshift quasars slow in velocity over time while losing redshift in quantized steps. They ultimately differentiate into new galaxies. Thus, we have the growing universe increasing in size instead of a violently exploding or expanding one. This, of course, is a much more orderly process, which is what is reflected and portrayed by the James Webb Telescope visuals. What these images show is an extensive array of stars and galaxies that are all connected by a three-dimensional web of shining helical filaments. In the electric universe paradigm, these are the intergalactic and/or interstellar Birkeland currents that deliver power to these astral constructions. This was the vision and understanding of Nobel Prize-winning Hannes Alfvén and his protege Anthony Peratt, which they called the plasma universe. I should also mention that the Big Bang gravity-only dominated theory, along with galactic revolution rotation problems, laid the foundation for the fantasy creations of dark matter and dark energy. Big Bang dark matter was always a huge enigma, and dark energy was even more egregious. These both now have to be rejected as well. But there are so many options for colorful, or should I say colorless, replacements. If dark ambrosia doesn't completely satisfy this penchant for scientismic mysticism, I see all kinds of other options. We could have dark entropy, anti-momentum, dark volume, anti-charge, dark movement, anti-shape, dark time, anti-size, or some other esoteric combination that will, quote, save the appearances. I suspect there are 666 possibilities. You get the idea. When defenders of establishment cosmology have been braced by the accepted fact of plasma in space, the reply has been generally along the lines of, yes, but it doesn't do anything. Those of us that understand the validity of the electric universe paradigm and theory are impatient to see all of these intellectually ungainly abstractions swept off the scientific cosmological table. There are many, including myself, that have never been able to fathom a universe with life and all that goes with being human, springing up spontaneously or developing from mere non-living, non-intelligent matter. The universe is obviously infused with design, and we are spiritual vessels with personality, intelligence, intellect, emotions, purpose, principles, values, and will. This would seem to demand an intelligent creator or designer with purpose as well. Given the deplorable human condition of struggling and suffering, culminating in death, it is an entirely different issue whether that agency is worthy to be worshipped rather than feared, and thus called God, a term that is a contraction of good. Our world has around 4,000 different identifiable organized religions, in which I include the most dominant of them all now, scientism. Scientism is the making of a dogmatic religion out of the pursuit of science or knowledge, which, as we all know, has a sordid history of always resisting significant new truth that challenges the existing paradigm. The multiplicity of concepts of God in these various religions, many of which are ugly and alien to humane beings, have always violated our sensibility and idealism. Yet many cling to these prevailing bad or anti-God paradigms like lichens cling to rock, as if their lives depend on it, which they clearly do not, given that we all age, decay, and die, regardless of which of these religions we profess. Maybe this lack of intellectual responsibility and integrity is the problem. I am unaware of anyone in Western science or religion that doesn't understand and accept that the very foundation of the physical universe is binary electric charge. This is manifested in negative electrons, positive protons, with neutrons that decay into these charged particles. The material universe is electric. Maybe someday soon more people can become reasonable, intellectually honest and responsible, and open-mindedly consider a much more elegant and beautiful vision. One that in both realms is based on the evidence of historical demonstration. A vision that we can 100% go all in for.
Well, that was interesting and nice, and also whatever for the drama these scientists are having, right? The theories and such. And hello, Reverend Rant. Welcome. 45-1, you're back. 45-1, I have a question. Did you ever find out, like, what the fusion, what do you call it? Fusion mix was for the recent discovery of being able to create fusion energy? Did you happen to, because I do not know whether they were using a hydrogen mix, a deuterium tritium mix, or like what have you. This expanding universe theory, what would happen? I mean, and how long would it take? How long has it been there? Our existence as a race on this planet. I like have some like questions about it, and maybe someday it'll all be made quite clear, like what all this is all about. I like the electromagnetic description, that visual they had of the web, kind of like it wasn't like a spider's web, but it was like, the strands of energy, one strand touching another and such. And it opens it opens the realm of possibility that there's other life out there. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they're dealing with like their kids going out and like gauging their ears and lopping off body parts and attaching dead body parts to make new body parts which don't work and stuff like that. I just wonder. I just have to wonder. So, let's see. We've got Super Trucker, Adam Gottlieb, and now King of Casual has arrived. Hello. And Cali Girl.
What up, dude?
Hey, just doing the show and such. And I don't know. Are we like winding down? I don't know yet. Let's see what has come up. Oh,
I have
look.
a brief question, real quick.
Yes.
When you play stuff on the Jitsi, such as the video you were just showing,
Yes.
I'm not getting any sound on my end. Is that a user issue on me, or?
You should be getting sound because, hold on, let me look at the Jitsi again. I'm looking at the sound.
So
here.
Casual, we're all having the same problem, but it's just watch it on his stream if you want to see the video.
I don't understand why you guys won't be able to like see any, like hear any of this, because I have it playing through like I normally do. I share my system audio. Let me see, what is this thing turned on to? Yeah, everything's set up to like put the audio through all the proper channels. It's like, I don't know. It was working earlier today. I mean, obviously people were like watching. I mean, let's see. Was anybody able to hear like the cartoons I was playing this morning?
Yeah, no, I couldn't hear any of that either.
Nothing worked on the Jitsi.
Well, now y'all telling me like towards the end of the show that nothing was working. Well, thanks. But you know what? It's a Jitsi
Kevin,
thing. What? What's up?
I was playing videos the other day from Jitsi, and the same thing happened to me, and I couldn't even hear my own video. So it's maybe a Jitsi thing.
It's got to be a Jitsi thing. Damn it! Oh, well, that's not going to ruin my day. That's a technical thing. I don't own Jitsi. I don't pay their
It's not a
bills.
big deal.
All right, well, this might be a big deal, though. Bill Nye reacts to nuclear fusion breakthrough. Mr. Ugh, let's see. Bill Nye. Bill Nye. Gender dance. This dude. You know, I'm just gonna take it out of the Jitsi since you guys can't hear it. There's no point in like teasing you all. So here, let me like remove it. You know what? I'm gonna try one more time though. Share system audio. Brave tab. Bill Nye. Gender dance. Share. All right. Let's see. Worst video ever. Is that the one? This one. Right here. Tell me if you can hear this.
One thing's clear about sexuality. There's a lot more going on than
Yep,
meets the
I
eye.
can hear now.
Damn you, Jitsi.
Female or male, gay or straight, pink or blue. We were taught to see these as binary. Now we're realizing it's more like a kaleidoscope. And this stuff isn't just for adults. Parents know this already. Kids explore gender, expression, attraction before they've ever heard of a spectrum. Take sex. We used to think it was pretty straightforward. X and a Y chromosome for males, 2 X's for females. But we see more combinations than that in real life. And even for people with just 2 sex chromosomes, hormones can vary wildly. So can anatomy. What makes someone male or female isn't so clear-cut. How about attraction? Some people argue the natural thing is to only be attracted to the opposite sex. But in practice, it ain't so simple, kids. Some people are gay, some are bi, some are asexual, and some will take whatever they can get.
Okay, so this guy is apparently talking to kids. Is Bill Nye the Science Guy, is he for kids? Do kids watch him? So anyway, he's talking to kids.
Well, I grew up with him, yes.
Okay, well, then here we keep on going.
You know what I mean? It's another sexy sliding scale.
Okay, so he's not talking
When
to
you throw
kids in this
gender,
one.
It gets even more colorful. By 3 or 4, most kids identify with a gender, and it doesn't always match the sex they were assigned at birth. And a person's gender identity may change over their lifetime. And culture is getting us new ways to express all of this. How you dress, how you act, talk, how you present yourself to the world. It should be up to you. Sure, this might make things confusing for those who insist everyone pick an M or an F. But people, we have to listen to the science. And the science says we're all on a spectrum.
Well, the science is
Our
bullshit.
labels, our fashion, even our washrooms are still catching up to that truth. I think you'll find when we look at sexuality this way, it is more complicated, but it's also a lot more honest.
Yeah, it's called
And
kinks. You have
more
kinks.
interesting.
That's not science. That's
I
just
learned a lot
kinks.
I mean, I'm this cis male guy who's been living in this world. But this stuff, to me, from a scientific standpoint, is just cool. Science is the process by which we understand nature, by which we understand our place in the world, how we all fit in.
That's not how that works. That's not how science works. Gender expression and science are not the same thing. So anyway, Bill Nye reacts to nuclear fusion breakthrough. So how does he react to it? What? You know what? Technology is not my friend today. CNN, ugh, finally.
What if you were a gigantic snack food maker who needs to satisfy cravings from Tokyo to Toledo? So
Well,
you
I
partner
don't
with
know.
IBM Consulting to manage your
Why?
supply chain with real-time, data-driven precision. Let's create
Adam,
supply
what the fuck
chains
is
have
that?
an appetite for performance.
Isn't
IBM,
Bill Nye the
let's create.
science guy?
Nuclear weapon can be like you.
What is he?
Bill Nye's the science guy, and he writes the book where you get all the money from. He's the grant guy. He's the guy that I'm pretty sure this is the same guy, Bill Nye. The grant book where you can go and you can buy his book and you can find out all the free money that the government's giving away to help the homeless. To do
Is
this,
he
to do
the
that.
one who used to wear that crazy outfit with all the dollar signs all over it?
No. He had a kids show as a science show called Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he's the same guy. We gotta look him up.
No, that's a different character.
It's a different character. Okay.
Are you
Good.
talking about? Are you talking about the guy who used to like? He would get all like high energy and come out and like, I've got a money making opportunity, and wear this like outfit, like this suit with like all these dollar signs all on it.
I I felt like he was wearing it had question marks on it.
Question.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Was it? Well, that would
I
be the
thought this was the
Joker, I
same
think,
dude.
or the Riddler.
No,
No, hold on, let me look him up.
Okay, I'm gonna play this video.
I
Here we
don't know.
go.
We had to terminate World War II. We're splitting very large atoms apart. Gave off tremendous amount of energy. But there's another amazing thing that happens in nature where you smash tiny, tiny parts of atoms together, protons, and they fuse and convert a tiny amount of their mass into energy, into heat and light. And that was the mythic hydrogen bomb. But for all this time, for 80 years, people have tried to get this idea where you could do it in a controlled fashion using a tiny amount of material, and the material would be hydrogen that has an extra neutron, which has this marvelous word deuterium. And then if it has two extra neutrons, that's tritium. And so using lasers, they zap this container, this whole rum, this gold thing with the deuterium in it, and the lasers create X-rays, and the X-rays create constructively interfering shock waves that get the thing to fuse without a giant magnetic bottle and without the gravity of a star. And so this is the first time, by all accounts, they've gotten more heat out than they put in. And this is amazing. And there's, as far as I know in the reporting the last few days, no one's mentioned that Enrique Fermi and his colleagues in the University of Chicago did the first chain reaction, which led to all the nuclear power plants we have now, on December 2nd, 1942.
Okay.
So it's quite a little chin stroke that it's very close to 80 years later to the day that this breakthrough occurred. And so you guys, if this would work, if this is a harbinger, if this is really the beginning of something huge, it would change the world.
Well, yeah, it would change the world, except it wasn't a sustained reaction. Well, what can I expect? Ugh, it's not like I'm out there making fusion energy, so am I to become cocky and be like, oh, well, it only lasted less than a second, it was only in the billions of seconds. Well, I don't see myself out there making fucking fusion energy, so maybe I shouldn't be a bitch about it. But at the same time, call us when you get the actual fucking sustained reaction. I mean, for fuck's sake, teasing people with fusion and shit. It's like, yeah, it's nice that you got it to like work for a fraction of a second. And it's just unfortunate that you kind of are getting people's hopes up when they can't afford to pay their bills and shit because, you know, the cost of fuel is like high. But yeah, it's a hope for the future. I mean, yeah, that's nice and everything. We're living in the now. It's like, how are we going to deal with now problems, now issues, now situation, now with the economy? And this fucked up globalist agenda and this like messed up non-government organizations messing with things that are, they were never voted in to mess with, number one, and then actually having like real world negative consequences on communities. But meanwhile, yes, I like the idea. I love the idea of fusion energy. I love that idea. I feel teased. Okay, maybe I'm a little pissed off. Maybe I'm a little pissed off that it wasn't a sustained reaction. I would have preferred that it be a sustained reaction. Now, what bothers me about this is that even a billionth of a second of that amount of energy, that can still be weaponized. That's what bothers me. The idea that you could possibly contain enough energy in a capsule of some size, because it doesn't necessarily have to be the hologram they're talking about that they're actually focusing the energy on. It can be a smaller mass, okay? A smaller gold focal point, if you will. A smaller amount of matter, a smaller amount of gas, a smaller amount of atomic material, which you could, theoretically, because we're all working on theories here, you could deploy and cause great devastation. So I'm just saying, I would have rather to have heard that they had developed a sustained reaction over a short-lived cycle, which that short-lived cycle, uncontained, without the proper structures used to contain such a reaction, unleashed could cause major devastation. So, just saying, I'm looking at 2 different sides, maybe 3 on this one. But yes. And thank you, Finkelstein, for pointing out this guy. It was question marks. But that's not Bill Nye, is it? No. It's Matthew Lesko. That's right. His name was Matthew Lesko. I thought it was dollar signs. Anyway, it was not. It was question marks, as a matter of fact. Little, what do you call that? Mandela effect. Just a little bit. Or a very bad memory. So, yes. It's already used in modern nuclear weapons. Fission sets the fusion reaction. Boom. Well, who was I having a conversation with? Was it Super Trucker or was it another individual in Jitsi? We're talking about the flameless cremation of bodies, and we got on the topic of chemical reactions and fusion and such, and oxidizing, and it's like fire is fusion, is it not? It causes the rapid oxidizing through fire is a form of fusion, is it not? I imagine it is. I'll have to look it up again. All right. So Mad World says keep kicking ass, cuz at the other lady said you have a beautiful brain. Gotta run. Love you. Chat. Bye. Later, Mad World. God bless. Okay, these ain't fuser powered plants. They are fusion bombs. Well, they could be, Muko. And let's see, Matt BB, bigger boom, but no radioactive fallout. Well, yes, except it's like that bigger boom. It's like, ew, it's just the idea that it can do so much more damage, yes, without the radioactive fallout, which means that if I were a country and if I wanted to go take over another country, or if I wanted to destabilize a region to use for its resources, what a perfect thing to do for mass annihilation. Just go and burn everything, and then I could come in later, and it's all the things that would be causing infestations of insects, rodents, and stuff that are all gone, except maybe on the periphery edges, but that's not what I was looking for. Anyway, what I'm looking for, my natural resource I want to go, is in the center of the burn area, so I don't have to deal with all the bodies, and I can set up shop. No radiation. Right there in the middle. No-go zone. So convenient. Do you love this show? Why, thank you, Muko. Alright, let's see. Finkelstein says, modern nuclear weapons work by combining chemical explosives, nuclear fission, and nuclear fusion. The explosive compress nuclear material causing fission. The fission release massive amounts of energy in the form of X-rays, which create the high temperature and pressure needed to ignite fusion. Well, there you go. Yeah, fire. Big ball of devastation. And I've looked at some of those charts too, the maps when I lived in Minneapolis. I was like, so, if a bomb fell in downtown Minneapolis, would we survive? The answer was no. Absolutely not. Even the small bombs, well, when I say small, I guess I should give an example. I don't have an example on me because I don't remember the name of the website I went to. But even the smaller nuclear bombs is still, it's very devastating. A 7-mile radius. Just, ugh. If you're not, I would hope I was in the blast area, because at least in the blast area you get a 3rd-degree burn, you don't realize you've been burned, and then as you're falling to the ground, you're already dying as you're hitting the ground, but you don't realize you're dying. Anyway, you hit the ground, you're dead. Now on the periphery areas though, where you don't get so much of the burn, and you get more of the pressure, that's where you start running into problems, because you have windows getting blown out, and people are still alive, and then you've got glass in people's faces and in their skin and stuff, and that's just a misery, I imagine. And then a little bit further out, then you have that other portion, which is you've been hit with a pulse, like a blast wave, and you can feel it because you haven't been burned, but you're quite aware that your bones have been broken or your eardrums have been shattered or what have you. And then for all the survivors in the area and maybe a few miles out, you have the radioactive drift and the fallout and stuff, and then you have days of misery, and that is horrible. What is this? Finkelstein, what is this? What did you do here? Thank you so much for the support. All right, I am going to play this video from Finkelstein. I believe it is Moloch Blaze. Let's go and find out. And then Ah, yes. Finkelstein, did you notice what happened over here with BitChute? Did you see this about the banks? So let's go and like blow this up before we do though. Let me go back. Pheno Labs discussion of nuclear war intro video. I've already watched this. As you can see, I've already given this an uptoot. Let's see, I'd leave a message. Once upon a time, we played video games based on historical events only to play video games of an uncertain future. The fun thing about living is knowing this is not a game where you get to reset when you lose. So win. Because this is not a game you can reset. So win. Just win. It's like no extra lives, respawns is what makes life so precious. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that this is going to be my final video of the day. I'm going to play this and I'm going to get on with my day because I've got things I've got to do in the kitchen. There's a pork belly I need to go chop up again. Alright, so here we go. We will have we'll have some closure after this video and such, don't worry.
When I see the sun, I hope it shines on me and gives me everything. Well, almost. Some people seem to be just small, hard peas. Sometimes I think it's me. Just to get you back, I try so hard for bruises on your back, tiny and mean. Just to get you back. 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 When I see the sun, I hope it shines on me and gives me everything. To be one
I noticed something about that video. I don't know if this is true in all simulations or in any other the representations of nuclear war. Nothing below the equator, well, from the like the northern hemisphere, nothing below the equator ever gets blown up. Okay, it's like Africa and South America somehow, and but I think Australia gets like a little shattered every now and again, or maybe that I'm thinking of. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Australia ever get hit in a simulation. I wonder, has Australia... And by the way, thank you, Finkelstein. So, again, this is Moloch Fillets. You can find Moloch Fillets on BitChute, which is currently undergoing some sort of, like, craziness with their banks. But I want to see something. Australia nuclear event. Let's see. Curious. Events. Australian Nuclear Association. Nuclear-powered submarine deal in fueling anger. Alright. I don't think... History of Australia's nuclear prohibition. Let's see. 20 years ago on this day, Australia prohibited the construction and operation of nuclear power stations. Okay, so they don't do the power stations. I don't think I've ever seen anything below the equator ever get hit with nuclear strikes, which I find rather interesting. At least not in simulations. I wonder. Is it because they don't have mass... Well, do they have mass media in those areas? They've got to have some sort of like mass media. I wonder sometimes if the nuclear threat isn't just another lever of control. I understand. I mean, granted, I understand ordinances exist. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm saying that perhaps in more... in Western cultures, we have more access to things like media and consumable media, so therefore it's readily digestible fear is what I'm like wondering about here. But yes, Finkelstein's videos, I enjoy them both for their video and audio, and of course the messages which come with them. And I wish I knew who was singing. I need an audio file to let me know who that is in the background, because one moment please, let me go and take a look-see. There is no more, so I do not know who I was hearing in the background, but I'm sure someone will let me know. It's when the music is slowed down, I have a hard time understanding it, but the tone definitely comes through, that is for certain. Alright, so let's see. As 45-1 Actual stated yesterday, he is going to be going on a 2-week hiatus starting the 17th. Where was I going with this? Brad Allen may be coming into the mix at some point, and then my shows will be sporadic. In the year 2023, all of my shows will be 1-hour format. I won't be doing extended shows in 2023, but I will have the pre-show as I normally have. But I will be cutting off right before 45-1 Actual's Big Dick Energy Brigade radio show starts. Okay? This morning, for some of you, so Sam Cohen, it will make you the most miserable creature on earth. I'll have to look that up so I can like actually hear it at its given speed. Thank you very much. That is, well, here, let me do it right now, as long as I'm up, just to make sure since you are here. That can't be the name. That can't be the name of the actual song, is it? Is that the name of the song? That's an awfully long title. Let me see. Life and Work Speech. The most happy and... Okay, so what is this?
Until his final days, Schubert never...
Well, this has nothing to do with Schubert. Yes, less showtime. Yes, there'll be less showtime. But a note on the pre-show show this morning. For those of you who were in the pre-show, you got to see appointment number 1 with a psychotherapist regarding gender affirmation. I have 3 or 4... Oh, he's the inventor of the neutron bomb. Thank you. Thank you, Finkelstein. I love it when I get knowledge. I love the knowledge. So now I can do this. Neutron bomb. Neutron bomb. There. Now I can absorb some more information for later. You know what's interesting about this? Is that our neighbor, the house our neighbor lives in across the field, there was a nuclear physicist who lived there right before the neighbors did. And they tell me it was a El Salvadorian who moved in across the field. He tells me that the previous occupant of that domicile left quite a few interesting things behind, and he's been inviting me over to take a look at some of the literature and artifacts left behind by the previous owner. So I may do that at some point. The show this morning, though, the pre-show, you got to see episode number 1 of the D-Trans series between myself and my doctor. Or my doctor and myself. My doctor and I. There will be 3 or 4 more episodes. I will play the next one during the Thursday pre-show. So I'll release 2 this week, and then I'll release 2 next week. I'm not so sure about the 5th one. I need to look at that one again. That appointment went a little wonky, and I need to decide what is my liability. I'm already trying to reduce my liability as it is by using the blurs I used this morning. It's very important that you see, I'm not the Navy SEAL who goes and writes a book about this stuff and sensationalizes it. I'm the tranny who is trying to educate people in a non-sensational way, a very grassroots type. I don't want the money, I don't want the fame, I don't want the recognition. That's not what's important. It's not about me, it's about the story and what's actually going on in the system, especially through our government. So, with that, the song is about nuclear weapons. Well, that part I got. Yeah, that part I got. All right. So yes, this brings us to a close of an extended show on a Tuesday in December in the year 2022. I do hope you all have enjoyed it. We will see you tomorrow, bright and early once again, Wednesday morning. Happy Wednesday morning, the day of woe. But don't worry, I'll open up the pre-show with some nice light music, energizing piano or something like that. Scenes of flowers and birds and butterflies and all that, Happy Wednesday shit. So yes, God bless, savages, and we will see you tomorrow. Isn't that just, that's awesome, isn't it, Finkelstein? A DD-214, yeah, honorably discharged too, mind you. Eats pork, who is conservative. I know, what a world. What a world. Alright, that ends our recording session for today.